Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, ma'am. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Nicole White, NicoleWhite.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Ma'am, I'm going to direct your attention to November 21st of last year. Were you at the City of Waukesha Parade?
I was.
And were you a participant or were you a spectator?
I was walking with the REMAX group.
Okay. So did REMAX have a float in the parade?
Yeah, it was a van.
Okay. Was there anything unusual about the van?
It had like a fire projector off the back of the top of the van with like a basket.
How did it come about that you were walking with the REMAX group?
My friend's mom was with the REMAX group and had asked us to join and walk with them.
Approximately how many people were walking with you that day?
I would have to guess and say maybe like 12.
Were a lot of those people you had known from your friends, your relationship with your friend?
Yeah, probably about half of them.
Okay. And what was do you remember the weather that day? It was in November, I'm assuming cold?
Yeah, it was gray. I mean, sweatshirt and jeans weather.
Had you walked in the parade before?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Had you ever been a spectator at the City of Waukesha Parade?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to show you a clip, and it's kind of at the beginning of the parade. It's Exhibit 142. I'm going to have it displayed on the screen in front of you, and I'm just going to ask you, we'll play a couple seconds of that if it's okay, and just let me know when it's displayed on your screen. Is it before you now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to play it for a couple seconds, okay? Do you recognize that video clip?
I've never seen this before, no.
Okay. Does that show, though, however, the van that was in front of you that you were marching with on the parade on November 21st of last year?
Yes.
Let me play a couple more seconds and you can tell me if you see yourself behind the van, all right?
Yeah.
Does this accurately reflect what you recall of this section of the parade, which it looks like it's at the beginning of the parade in terms of who you were with and what the float looked like?
Yes.
Okay. I'd ask that the court admit this into evidence and publish it to the jury.
Objection. Witness just stated she doesn't recall the clip.
The witness has answered questions that establish the foundation for this, and based on that, the court is going to receive Exhibit 142 and permission to publish is granted.
So wait one moment, I'm just going to have it play through so the jury can see it, okay? Okay, if you can play. Can you pause it for a moment? Do you see yourself in this this section that's been paused?
Yes.
There's a touch screen. The screen in front of you actually will react to your finger. Can you circle where you are in this frame? Okay. And if we can clear that off, I just wanted to let the jury know kind of who they were looking at. If we can play it the rest of the way, it was paused at 21 seconds. It's a total clip of 33 seconds. Thank you. Did you have a formation, or exactly what was the purpose of the people walking behind the van?
There were other people that were passing out candy along the way at certain points. I was mainly just taking pictures as we went.
Okay. And was that part of your duty, is to kind of take pictures of the whole environment, what was around you, and kind of your perspective from walking in the parade?
Yeah, part of one of my friends from the group, her younger son was in the basket of the REMAX van, so I was taking pictures of him and the other younger boy.
Did there come a time when you, in the parade route, that you started hearing something unusual going on behind you?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever hear anything that caused you to look back?
No.
So what do you remember about, at some point, were you struck?
Yeah, that's the first point that I knew that anything was happening, was when I was hit. There wasn't any commotion or noise until right at that moment.
Okay. So can you tell the jury what you recall of that moment, if you will?
I just remember being struck by the vehicle from behind, like on my back, and then I fell to my knees and kind of rolled under the vehicle, and when after it happened, I guess I didn't really know, I thought that somebody would have stopped after that point, and when I looked up, I just remember the vehicle continued.
Do you recall anything about the vehicle, like a vehicle description, what color it was?
It was a red SUV.
And when you said that the vehicle, you thought it would have stopped, did you see the vehicle stop?
No.
Did you see any brake lights on the vehicle?
Not that I can recall.
The objection is noted. It's overruled. Will you restate your answer, please?
No.
And I should have maybe clarified, did you see any brake lights activated after, when you looked up from being hit?
No.
Now, where were you in relationship to the float when the car struck you? Were you immediately behind the float? Do you recall?
I was probably a couple of yards back from the float, but I was behind the REMAX van, yes.
So would it be fair to say that you were more in the middle of the road versus on the left or the right side of the road?
Yes.
And when you looked up after being struck, did you see the path that the car took, or the SUV?
It veered to the left side of the van that was in front of me.
And then did you see where it went after that?
It just continued, but I couldn't, the van, I couldn't see anything beyond that, no.
As you saw the car after it struck you, so what you're saying, I just want to make sure I've got this right, is prior to the vehicle striking you, you never looked back before it struck you.
Correct.
So you didn't know what hit you at the time that you were struck.
Correct.
And when it went past you, how fast was it going? And I'm not really talking about how many miles per hour, but was it at a slow speed, a medium speed? How would you describe it for the jury?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. Go ahead and answer.
I would guess probably maybe 20 miles an hour.
And I'm assuming that you drive a car daily.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been driving for 10 years, more than 10 years?
More than 10
Okay.
years, yes.
Thank you. Did you ever hear a horn coming from the car prior to you being struck?
No.
Did you hear a horn coming from the car, or horn noise coming from the car after you were struck?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 15. It'll again be on the screen. And would you generally characterize this, and it can be displayed, it's already been admitted into evidence.
Yes, permission to publish, once again, is granted.
Generally speaking, do you recognize this as the parade route? If you look in the upper right part of the screen, there's like a purple line that kind of goes down White Rock Avenue, takes a right, and it goes down Main Street. Does that look familiar?
Yes.
And that would be the route of the parade that day?
Yes.
And direct your attention to approximately shortly after Main and Barstow. There's a star, a yellow star, and then if you connect that line to the yellow star, it says your name and REMAX services. Do you see that?
Yes.
Would it help if we zoomed in, or you can see it from there?
I can see it.
Okay. Why don't we zoom in a little bit so maybe the jury can see it? I don't know how familiar you are with Waukesha, but the roads are kind of a little crazy. And would that accurately reflect where you were struck?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. After you were struck, what did you observe of the parade route?
I mean, it was very chaotic. There was people at that point that began like running and screaming to either help others or flee from the area. There was like a group that like came to me and like helped me over to like the side of the road.
Were you able to walk?
No, my knee was injured, so.
What did you do what happened after you got to the side of the road?
Initially, the people that came to me helped me sit in a chair on the side of the road, and then eventually, moments later, they moved us into the building that was right there, which was the Smart Asset Realty.
And that's also in the area, I think it's reflected on Exhibit 15, that would be in the area of where you were struck?
That's correct, yes.
What did you do once you got into the Smart Asset Realty building?
I mean, there was several other people that were in there as well. And I sat there and waited. There was a nurse or someone that had like some medical experience that kind of like looked at me, and then I waited until later on when I was there was a police officer that came back and escorted me to the hospital.
So the police officer transported you to the hospital?
Correct.
Was that Waukesha Memorial Hospital?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 20. And I'm going to ask you, it'll just be in front of you initially. I'm going to show you a couple seconds of that and ask you if that's, if you recognize what's contained in that video. It is a 3-second video, so I'll actually show the whole thing to you before we ask that it be admitted and published. So why don't you take a moment to view that? Is it on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you recognize that video?
No, I had not seen that before.
Do you recognize, though, what took place in that video?
Yes.
Can you describe to the jury what you just saw?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Grounds.
Not hearsay.
It was a video of the events that took place that day where I was struck by the vehicle.
I would ask the court to admit this exhibit into evidence and also to allow the state to publish it. It'd be Exhibit 20.
Mr. Brooks, anything?
Objection.
The objection is noted, it's overruled. Exhibit 20 is received, permission to publish is granted.
Now, before we start the video, do you recognize the white van that's depicted, I'd say in the upper third of the screen?
Yeah, that is the REMAX van.
And you see approximately where you are on this frame?
Yes.
And can you, I don't know if you can do it with the video, but if you can just circle it, or circle you. Okay.
Well, the top of.
Yeah. Can we clear that? I think you circled a couple people. There's one, and I think before you circled yourself, you were wearing a red sweatshirt right there. Okay, thank you. If you can clear the screen. And let's take a look at the video. Thank you.
Jackson, we just looked at the video.
Overruled.
And did that accurately depict the car hitting you from behind and then rolling over your legs?
Yes.
What injuries did you suffer as a result of this,
Um,
generally speaking?
2 torn ligaments in my right knee, and then to my spine, like my lower spine. 2 vertebrae were like compressed, and then my tailbone.
And those were all the results of being struck?
Oh, correct.
Thank you. Nothing further. Thank you.
Any cross, Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor. You stated that when you were struck from behind, you didn't hear or see the vehicle approach. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you estimated this. Did you estimate the speed, or do you recall how fast the vehicle may have been going?
When it hit me, no, I was not able to see that.
When it passed you?
They had asked me when it passed me afterwards what I would estimate it to have been. And I said, if I had to guess, it was probably around 20 miles an hour afterwards.
Would it be fair to say from the videos that we just saw that the vehicle wasn't traveling fast?
Your Honor, I'm just going to, for the record,
Grounds.
just clarify that the video is showing at 50% speed.
Grounds? What?
I didn't know that initially, I guess.
Nobody knew that.
Can you play it at full speed then, please? And then he can ask the question.
Certainly.
Go ahead, your question, sir.
And you said that you would estimate the vehicle was going around 20 miles per hour?
Correct.
And how would you come to that estimation?
I guess I'm not sure how you want me to answer that question.
What's the basis for you saying 20 miles per hour?
Based on previous experience with vehicles, traffic.
So would it be fair to say you don't know for sure how fast the vehicle was traveling?
There's no way for me to say for sure how fast the vehicle was going. I was not driving it.
You stated that you fell to the ground. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Did you at any point get a description of the driver of the vehicle?
No.
Were you able to make out if anyone was in the vehicle besides the driver?
No.
Did you get a license plate number?
No.
Did you file a claim in this matter?
There was a police report filed, yes.
Do you remember the name of the officer that you filed the report with?
No, I do not. It was an FBI agent.
Do you recall the date that you were interviewed or that you made the report?
November 21st.
Would that be with the FBI agent as you just stated or with local law enforcement?
The FBI.
I know it's kind of far, but can you see this paper that I'm holding?
Yeah.
Is that your handwriting?
If you can't see it that close, just say you can't.
I can't read it from here.
Do we have the document camera we can put up?
Let me see if we can get this up and just project
Okay,
it on the
thank
screen.
you.
Apparently it takes about 2 minutes to project it. Yeah, just to verify, this will just be previewed for the witness. It does have personal identifying information on it.
Okay.
I would somewhat object to that, Your Honor. This is a public trial. We have to remember that.
Your objection's noted.
Oh, it's upside down, okay.
I had to hit the
Can
video
you
camera.
move it up a little bit? Well, can you see that?
It's not in front of her
Oh,
yet, so
I'm
we
sorry.
did that. We just wanted to make sure we could get it working.
I'm sorry.
It should be there momentarily.
I apologize.
You wouldn't have known. There you go. It's up.
Is that your handwriting on this document?
Yes.
And you stated that you gave a report to the FBI on November the 21st. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is it correct that this date here says 12/29 of 21?
That's not what this form is.
What would this form be?
That was a form that was filled out as a follow-up based on my experience at the parade. I spoke with someone in person on the 21st.
Do you know who provided you with this form that we're looking at?
I believe it was through the Victims Witness program. I don't recall correct. No. It was emailed to me, I believe.
So would it be fair to say then that the report you filed was with Officer Wagner?
You talking about this report or previously?
The report of being struck
On the 21st of November?
on the 21st of November.
Do you know the name of the individual you spoke with on the 21st?
Not offhand, no.
Do you recall stating in the report that you filed on November 21st that you saw a red SUV go to the left of the float and then to the right in front?
I don't believe that's what I recall is what I had stated earlier was that I saw it veer to the left of the float. From there, I wouldn't have been able to see.
Would it be fair to say that, reading from the report that you gave on November the 21st, that it says that you saw a red SUV go to the left of the float and then to the right in front?
I don't have the report, so
Would you like to see it? I've read it.
Mr. Brooks, do you want to show her the report? Then you need to put it on the document camera. Preview it again. Oh, go ahead.
Your Honor, that is not the report. I believe that may have been notes that were with the report that went to Mr. Brooks. That is not the report.
Looks to be a summary of what she may have provided to another officer, FBI agent, but not the report itself. So in light of that, she's not going to be questioned on that unless that helps refresh her recollection.
Does it?
Look at it, it's in front of you, right?
yeah.
Does that in any way help refresh your recollection about what you may have told an investigator in this case?
I
On
believe,
the 21st, sorry.
yeah, I believe this was a year ago, but I believe what I said was that I witnessed it continue to drive, veer to the left to avoid the van that was in front of me, and then continue driving without stopping.
And just so the record is clear, because it was being used, I think, to refresh her recollection. After she reviewed it, I turned off the camera. So it's not in front of her at the moment.
Would it?
It's being given back to you. Go ahead, ask your next question.
I have the actual report too, if that may help. Would it be fair to say that you testified that you don't recall hearing anything or seeing anything before you were struck, correct?
Correct.
And now this is reading from the report, page 1.
I guess the proper foundation for Mr. Brooks to use would be if reviewing a report would refresh her recollection, and then based upon her answer, he would go from there.
Well, you could also just directly ask the question, since it's on cross-exam. Isn't it true that you said X to the investigator? But you need to quote directly then from the
I tend to.
report. Go ahead, ask your question.
Quote right from here. is it true that you said when you were walking, well, it says White explained when she was walking, she heard screaming, and as she looked around, she was hit by the red SUV. Does that refresh or help you recall anything that happened on November 21st?
No,
Do you recall saying that?
I do not recall those exact words, no.
Do you recall saying that when this is all explaining like in the third person, I'm assuming, it says White, as she lay on the ground, White stated she observed the red SUV go to the left of the float and then to the right in front of the float.
Again,
Hold on, she may answer. Go ahead.
as I previously stated, I observed the van go towards the left, the vehicle go towards the left of the van, at which point there was no indication that it was stopping or anything, and that it continued from there. I could not see what happened beyond it going to the left of the van because the van was in front of me blocking my view.
It also says White stated the vehicle appeared to be traveling extremely fast and it did not slow down or even brake. But you just said that you couldn't see the vehicle once it veered around the van. Is that fair to say?
As it veered to the left of the van, it did appear to be moving fast, yes.
Would it be fair to say that the video footage doesn't show that?
Objection, that mischaracterizes the video footage as
Grounds.
the video was cut off shortly after striking Miss White.
You're making an argument, which is something you can do later, so I'll sustain the objection as to the form of the question.
It goes on to say White did not observe the driver of the SUV and could only describe the SUV as red, and it appeared to be a lower rise, in quotation marks, SUV and maybe a Traverse. Do you recall saying that?
I said it was of similar size to a Traverse.
What is a Traverse?
Objections or relevance?
Well,
Grounds?
it's overruled. She may answer and explain why she said what she did.
Because, in my opinion, it's a lower sitting SUV or vehicle versus like some of the higher, some of them sit up higher and are bigger in size. It was more of a mid-size, lower to the ground SUV, in my opinion. Similar to a Traverse.
Do you recall saying that, and I'm reading from the report again, White stated that she was treated and released at Waukesha Memorial Hospital and sustained bruising, scars, and road rash on her body and a knee injury to her right leg. White stated that she did not have a broken leg, but may have a torn MCL. Do you recall reporting that?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say, and I'm asking this because you said may have a torn MCL, would it be fair to say that at that time you were not sure of the full extent of your injury?
Yes.
About how long were you treated at Waukesha Memorial Hospital?
A few hours.
Just 1 second. And did you file a claim in this matter? Any type of claim?
Yes.
What was that claim?
There were claims that were filed with the state of Wisconsin that were to cover like the cost of the medical treatment that was received.
So the state of Wisconsin offered to pay your medical expenses.
It was through the Victim Witness Protection Program.
So would you consider yourself a party to this matter then?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained, not relevant. Excuse me.
And in the claim that you filed, did you file the claim under an injured party?
Objection. I guess I'm not
Grounds.
understanding the question. It's vague.
Grounds.
She indicated she filed a claim because she was injured.
So
Mr. Brooks, I'm sustaining the objection as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
do you consider yourself an injured party?
Yes.
Are you a plaintiff in this matter? Grounds.
She's a witness. Sustained.
Have you read or seen the complaint in this matter at any time?
Objection is irrelevant.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Have you seen or read the complaint?
No, I don't know what complaint is being referred to. No.
And were you aware that you may be called to testify in this matter?
Yes.
And who were you informed by?
The Victim Witness Program and the prosecutors.
So are you saying the state of Wisconsin?
Objection is irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained. Mr. Brooks, under item 611, please move on to another line of questioning.
At the moment that you were struck, did you observe anyone else struck at that time?
No.
So it'd be fair to say that you were, to your knowledge, at that time, you were the only one that you knew that was struck.
Yes, to my knowledge. At
Would
that
it be-
time.
Would it be fair to say that there were numerous people in the general area that you were at that time?
Yes.
At that time, did you learn about anybody that was struck at the point in time that you were struck?
At the time that I was hit, no.
And you stated that you didn't see any brake lights?
Correct.
You were able to see that from the ground position?
Correct.
from your opinion, did it appear to you that the vehicle was attempting to strike anyone?
Objection calls for speculation.
Grounds?
The way he asked, it, did it appear? If you know, you may answer.
It appeared it was traveling in the direction where it could have struck other people, yes.
But to the best of your knowledge, you didn't know for sure.
That's correct.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Just briefly. Ma'am, after receiving medical attention at Waukesha Memorial Hospital, did you receive any other medical attention following November 21st, 2021?
Objection irrelevant.
Overruled. She may answer.
And direct your attention back to the video. It was Exhibit 20, the one that was the overhead video. Do you recall seeing that video today?
Objection. She never answered the first question.
She said yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't hear it.
It was a little quiet, but I heard it.
Do you recall seeing Exhibit 20, which was an overhead video of you being struck?
Today, yes.
Yes. And was that the same red SUV depicted in that video as what you saw after you were struck?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may step down. She may.